What is going on in that world? My name is Tommy. You probably know me as Rivet, and I'm your coach of the Atlanta Brave Heroes, the highest flying fly science on YouTube. We are here today with our Week 4 battle of the OMDL against JMann and the Disastrous Dunsparces. It's going to be a great match. Welcome to the workshop. Alrighty guys, we are here breaking down our Week 4 matchup for the OMDL against JMann and the Disastrous Dunsparces. We got a pretty scary team, but I think we have a pretty solid squad to take on this week. His first mon is Disastrous Defense, an incredibly bulky psychic type with the pressure ability, massive defenses at base 116 each, and then very solid speed at base 90. You can do a whole bunch of defensive shenanigans. It can hazard stack, it can teleport out, it can knock off. It's got a pretty solid move pool that it can use in conjunction with calm mindsets. It's got solid recovery and recover, and it can just do a whole bunch of things. So, as good as Disastrous is, I don't think it comes this match. I have a couple things on my team that kind of run it through, like Hydreigon. It doesn't take on Coco very well. You can't do a whole bunch of other things on my team, such as Toxic Pex. And unless he's got Ice Beam, the Life Score can kind of set up all over it. So, not really expecting Disastrous this week. Next up is Kyurem, an incredibly scary wall breaker, Ice and Dragon type, again with the pressure ability. Choice spec sets are incredibly scary. Freeze Dry and or Ice Beam and Draco Meteor is incredible to stab. It's got very solid coverage moves and stuff like Focus Blast, Earth Power. You can run physical sets with stuff like Dragon Dance and Icicle Spear, along with Scale Shot, which is pretty scary. So Kyurem is probably coming in this match. It does a bunch of good things against my team. Mega Scizor shuts it down pretty good, and obviously drives it pretty hard with a Bullet Punch. But I think a Choice Scarf set has some merit this week, and you can outspeed Tapu Koko and put a whole bunch of pressure on something like Fly Score, and then Freeze Dry would obviously hit Hex pretty hard. Next up is Mega Charizard Y, a very scary wall breaker, fire flying type with the Drought ability. Moves inside hit incredibly hard. Flamethrowers with Fire Blasts insanely hard. It gets one-turn Solar Beam, which is solid. Air Slash is a pretty solid dual stab. It does get Scorching Sands, and his sketch move is Volt Switch, letting it hit something like Toxic Pex a little bit harder and giving it a pivoting option. So that's pretty spooky, but Mega Charizard Y, I think it probably comes just because I think he'll think that Volt Switch is a solid option to go into Pex, but Pex is so bulky that it can take it on solid anyway, but I'm still expecting Charizard Y this week. Next up is Tangrowth, a very bulky grass type with the Regenerator ability. Fantastic assault best user with a very solid move pool and very good HP, along with solid attacking stats and physical defense as well. Definitely expecting Tangrowth this week. It's his really only way to switch in to Tapu Koko like semi-reliably. Fully just expecting a fully specially defensive assault best set, something like Power Whip, Earthquake, something of the sort. He doesn't have a ground type on his team, and his other things that kind of switch in to Rising Voltage get clocked by Dazzling Gleam, so not really expecting anything else, but definitely thinking that Tangrowth comes this match. Next up is Togekiss, a very bulky fairy and flying type with the Serene Grace and Super Luck abilities. Air Slash is a very spammable stab move for it. He does have Moonblast on here as a sketch move, giving it a little bit of a more powerful secondary stab move, along with a big chance to lower special attack. You can do a whole bunch of other things. It can set up Tailwind, it can Roost for longevity, defog hazards away, it can Wish Pass, it can start setting up a Nasty Plot. It's got a very solid move as well with stuff like Flamethrower and Force Sphere. So it could see Togekiss this week, wouldn't be surprised to. It can handle a couple things on my team. It can hit Life Core pretty hard. It can set up all over Pex's face and maybe hit it with something like a Psychic, and also puts on a bunch of pressure against Mega Scizor if he's in a Berry with a Flamethrower as well. So gotta watch out for Kiss. Next up is Volcanion, a very strong water and fire type with water absorbability. Very strong wall breaker with 130 special attack, and incredible to stab and Steam Eruption and Flamethrower or Fire Blast. It's got a pretty solid coverage as well with stuff like Rock Slide and Earth Power, and he does have Charge Beam on here as a sketch move, giving him a little bit of a boosting option as well as just extra coverage to hit bulky waters. Not really expecting Volcanion this week. I have a couple things that kind of do it in. It can't really touch Pex. Flash Core can hit it very, very hard, and this is a Choice Scarf. And then Mega Scizor can obviously block it with the Bone Ring. So not really expecting Volcanion this week. Next up is Lucario, a very versatile attacker, a steel and fighting type with justified ability. It can set up on both aspects with Swords Dance and Nasty Plot, and it's phenomenal to stab in both. Close combat and Meteor Mash and Bullet Punch is very solid because the side does get extra coverage and stuff like Extreme Speed and the Elemental Punches, I believe. On the special side, it can run moves like Flash Cannon, Aura Sphere, Focus Blast, Vacuum Wave, so it can do a whole bunch of stuff. Not really expecting Lucario. Again, Toxic Pex does a pretty good number to it. He can't really touch Lucario. Lucario can't really touch Toxic Pex unless it's carrying Psychic, but I don't think he has one for that. I think he needs a couple other things, or if he's running something very quick. But if I see Lucario, I definitely have the tools for it. Next up is Snorlax, a very bulky normal type, the Gluttony and thick fat abilities. It's obviously a huge setup there with something like Curse and Berries with the Gluttony ability. Do a bunch of other things as well. It's pretty good Assault Vest user or just Choice Band with a pretty solid move pool and very solid attack stat. Next up is Flareon, a pretty offensive fire type with Flash Fire and Guts abilities. It's pretty slow, but it does hit very hard with 130 attack. I could see something like maybe like a Choice Band Flareon and try to burst through something like Mega Scizor. But no, honestly, not really expecting Flareon. If a fire type comes, it's probably that Zard Y. Next up is Molga. Pretty cool little flying and electric type with the Motor Drive ability. Probably expecting Molga this week just to switch into Rising Voltage, as he does have the Motor Drive ability, making him immune to that. If he's like fully specially defensive, a Spec Dazzling Gleam still 3 shots anyway, but maybe he just brings it so I can't lock in Rising Voltage. It can Volt Switch around, it can boost for longevity, defog hazards away. It's got a couple of things it can do, like Nuzzle. And last but not least, he's got Haunter, a pretty offensive Ghost and Poison type with the Levitate ability. He's got pretty solid stab under with Sludge Wave, and then his sketch move is Moongeist Beam, which is the Lunala's signature move. So it does hit pretty hard. Or it can run Eviolite with something like a specially defensive set to, again, try to switch into Rising Voltage just because he's off the ground. But probably not expecting Haunter this week. I think he needs some other things on his team to try to deal with mine. So with all that out of the way, let's hop into what I am bringing this match. Leading us up, we are rocking Marigold, the Tapu Koko Marigold, rocking the Choice Spec set this week. The Electric Surge ability, Rising Voltage, Dazzling Gleam, Volt Switch, and U-Turn. Max special attack modest with 160 and speed. This lets me outspeed fully invested Emolga, and then the rest thrown into HP for a little bit of bulk. Rising Voltage absolutely thrashes this team. Like I said, he doesn't have a ground type. His best switch in his Tangrowth for Emolga. Emolga gets sent for a ride from Dazzling Gleam. Rising Voltage still like kind of smacks Tangrowth with a little bit of chip on him. That'll be hard because we're Generator, but it does 33% minimum if he's max AV. If he's not, if he's on like Rocky Helmet or something like Archeops, and he's just going to probably die. So really like Marigold this week. I just got to play it right. Can't lose it to a surprise Scarfer, but otherwise it should be in a great position to absolutely body this team. Next up, we are rocking Psychosphere, the Mega Scizor, with a specially defensive set this week. The Technician ability, U-Turn knockoff versus defog. This is my primary switch into Kyurem. Kyurem can't really touch me. I pressure pretty hard with Bullet Punch. I don't have it obviously, but this is just a good tool to try to pivot on this team, get into Marigold a whole lot. Knockoff is there for removing any items on something like Volcanion that might want to try to come in. U-Turn is just good for pivoting around his team. Really liking Psychosphere this week. I just need to keep that Kyurem in check. Next up, we are rocking Priestess, the Toxapex, with the fully special defensive set this week with the Black's Legend Regenerator ability. Knockoff, Teleport, Recover, and Toxic Spikes. This is my primary switch into a whole bunch of stuff on this team. Zardwall can't do a whole lot. Neither can Togekiss, neither can Volcanion, neither can Lucario, neither can Haunter. So this thing does a whole bunch to his team. Knockoff is there for utility. This thing's job is to get in, teleport out, and then get into Marigold or something else. Just fully specially defensive. I'm taking hits for days. Regenerator just lets me get so much HP back. If I have to, I have Recover on here, and then I also have Toxic Spikes as well. He doesn't have a grounded poison just because Haunter levitates. I'm getting some Toxic Chip on something like a non-resting Snorlax would be really solid, as well as something like the Octa's defense as well. So I'm really liking the Toxic Spikes this week. Next up, we're rocking Absalom the Delmos with a pretty cool set with Yachi Berry and Steelworker ability, Poltergeist, Body Press, Iron Defense, and Synthesis, fully specially defensive. This is my best way to deal with someone like Snorlax. If he's not like Choice Band or with Crunch or Darkest Lair or something of the sort, I can start body pressing up. That does a whole bunch. In conjunction with Poltergeist, it's pretty solid coverage for this team. I've got Yachi Berry, so I can take a Freeze Dryer and Ice Beam from Kyurem and just squish that thing with a body press. Iron Defense is just good for taking hits from something like Snorlax, something like physically offensive Tangrowth or Lucario, and then Synthesis just for recovery. If he sets Sun with Mega Charizard X, or Mega Charizard Y, excuse me, then Synthesis is going to be getting a whole lot of HP back. So I'm really liking this set. I hope it can do some work. Even if I don't start Iron Defensing up, Poltergeist is just good for spamming this match. It tickles Deoxys pretty good. It tickles a couple other things on this team. Weakens down that a little bit if it wants to try to come out like a power up or something of the sort. But really liking Delmais this week. Next up, we are rocking Alpha, the Archeops again this week with a heavy duty boot set, the Defeat Us ability, Stone Edge, Dual Wing Beat, U-Turn, Stealth Rock, Max Attack, and then 200 in speed. Jolly Nature again, letting me outspeed fully invested in Molga. Stone Edge plus Dual Wing Beat looks incredible this match. Rock just kind of wrecks him. He's only got one switch into it. That's Lucario, and that doesn't want to take a Dual Wing Beat. U-Turn is there for pivoting around this team, and then Stealth Rock's there for just any chip I can get on something like Tangrowth coming in or Volcanion coming in, or that Kyurem as well, and obviously Mega Charizard X, or Y, because he doesn't get to run boots. So really liking Alpha this week. I just need to pivot around and do some big damage. And then last but not least, making her debut, we are rocking Scarlet, the Delphox Scarlet, rocking the Power Herb Magician set this week with Meteor Beam, Fire Blast, Psychic, and Shadow Ball as well. Fully specially invested in 248 in speed and the Timid Nature. This again lets me outspeed fully invested in Molga. Fire Blast plus Psychic looks really, really solid this week, especially a +1 for Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam, I'm hoping it'll obviously let me just absolutely body something like Togekiss or Mega Charizard Y. And then a +1 dual stab plus Shadow Ball is just clapping this team. I really hope this can do some good work. If I lose it again to like a Scarf or something, I'll be pretty sad. But I think this set has the capacity to do some really good work. And then if I like choice specs, or if I magician like choice specs or something like this, or some boots or something, I'll be really happy. So hoping this works. I hope it can be a little bit cheesy and grab an item. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Alrighty guys, we're about to hop into this week 4 match against JMann and the Disastrous Dunsparces for the OMDL. You can see the 6 I expect them to bring up on the screen: Kyurem, Mega Charizard, Y, Tangrowth, Togekiss, Snorlax, and then Emolga. I can definitely see something like Volcanion or Lucario sprinkled in there, but you've seen the 6 I am bringing and why I am bringing them. If you haven't, go check out the Teambuilder. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Alright, we do see Lucario instead of Blax. It's totally cool. But everything else makes sense. Alrighty, so from a lead perspective, I could totally see just an Emolga lead to try to pivot, or a Kyurem to try to body me. I like leading Alpha. It matches up pretty well against everything. I can U-turn out. I can check what that Tangrowth is. I could try to set hazards as well. So let's do that. Let's lead Alpha. He's gonna lead Zard. There's no way in hell you stay in for this Stone Edge. So you're probably just gonna go into Tangrowth or that Lucario. I'm just gonna set my rocks. If for some ungodly reason, I mean, if you click Volt Switch, I'll lose Alpha, that'd be tragic. But I like getting rocks up. I'm gonna click rocks. He's gonna stay in and click Volt Switch. Wow. I can't believe he did that, but whatever. Alright, well, Emolga's in. This thing's boots. Alpha's useless. I'm just gonna U-turn. I cannot believe he made that play. And I'm just going to go into Epsilon. He's either going to defog or he's going to nuzzle. That's fine. And I'm just going to click Poltergeist. And he's going to defog. This is going to hurt. Goodbye. Well, it's Coca time. Lucario's going to come out. I don't know what you got for me. Probably Crunch. Or you're just going to click Bullet Punch. I could sack off Alpha, but I'm just going to go into Priestess and teleport into Mary. I mean, but if you SD and then you start mashing E-Speed, that would also be bad. I'm going to click Body Press. Oh, I forgot about Spectral Thief. Oops. Yeah, that was a sketch move. Oopsie poopsie. Go into Priestess this time and then just teleport out. And he's going to do it again. Nope. Nada. And click Earthquake, won't do too much. Yeah, Zard is going to come out. Goodbye. And let me just confirm that Coco will body this thing. Yeah, Voltage smashes it. So I should be able to go into Mary and click a couple moves really quick. Tangrowth can obviously come out. If he's like max, he'll take 2, but I'm just going to click Voltage, see how much it does. Oh my god. Well, let's click it again. Oh, he's Choice Scarf Tangrowth. What the fuck? What the hell? Alright, well, I guess Marigold isn't going to get as many kills as I wanted it to, but Jesus H. I'm going to Priestess on the Bullet Punch. Oh, E-Speeds. I'm just going to teleport out again. Choice Scarf. Oh my god. I'm just going to go into Scarlet. And click Psychic. Zard Y is going to come out here. Alright, I'm just going to click Meteor Beam then. Yoinks. Goodbye. Alright, well, Scarlet doing some cool stuff. Now I get to click Fire Blast in Sun and get some boots probably. Oh, it didn't kill. I get leftovers instead. Same difference. Oh my god, he's Ancient Power Togekiss. Ah! Alright, well, Psychic comes off. E-Speed from Lucario should be able to kill me from this range, so I'm just going to click Psychic again. Yep. Womp. Alright, Kyurem comes out. And I'm going to go into Psycho. Oh, he's DD. Well, this is where I should have brought Bullet Punch. I was Orb. I'm just gonna. I'll just U-turn into Mary. That should be enough. I don't think this thing is way shorter. Photon Geyser. That's not gonna do that much. Pink. Yeah, just go into Mary. That's well, that's a 6-0. That's what I call a riveting win. GG's to JMann. He brought some wild stuff. Choice Carb Tangrowth is absolutely baller. I'm just glad it didn't kill me because that would have been tragic. But GG's to him. We are moving on quite nicely in the OMDL after our tough week 2 loss. But we're picking up some steam again. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying the OMDL so far, please be sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you guys aren't new. Leave a like for JMann and Choice Scarf Tangrowth and the other baller stuff you brought into Power Toby. So thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.